Hi everybody, here are your notes for simplifying and evaluating expressions. What I want you to do first is think about this problem here. Find the area of the triangle if the height is 12. Now if you've forgotten the formula for area, it's area equals half of the base times the height. Okay, so if we plug everything in, hopefully you paused and did this. Remember, you can print, not print, but make sure everything gets in your notebook. Area equals 1/2. We're going to say that the base is h plus 6 and the height is just h. So if I plug in 12, it's going to be 1/2 of 12 plus 6. This is 12 plus 6 times 6. This is 6. Oh, I'm sorry, 12, because h is 12. Okay. Half. First, we have to do what's inside the grouping. So right here, half of 18 times 12, because 12 plus 6 is 18. That's why it's a grouping. That's why you have to do it first. Multiplication, half of 18 is 9 times 12. Area is 108. Right, there we go. Okay. So here we go. There's only 2 slides here for problems. For these there's 4 problems on this slide. You're going to use these 2 values of x and y. Now every time you substitute into parentheses. But you have to be really careful to remember what operation is joining 2 things. So 3xy means 3 times x times y. So that means I'm going to put the 3 times -3 times 5, 3 times x times y. That's why it's important to put it into parentheses, minus 2 times x. So the first step is groupings. There are no groupings here. All the parentheses mean multiplication, so there's nothing to simplify it. Exponents. Now multiplication from left to right. This is -9 times 5 minus 2 times -3. This is -45. Minus 2 times -3. Now the next multiplication is this. So how I'm going to draw my zoom in box is it's going to start at the end of the parenthesis and end at the very first sign I see. You need to include the sign. This is a very important step that if you don't draw these boxes, you might forget it. So be very careful to include the sign. So now it's -45. And then this is right next to it, so it's kind of like addition. It's addition or subtraction that's joining them, not multiplication or division. -2 times 3 is +6. +6, so that's going to be -39. This next one over here, parentheses, also super important. X is -3, so that x gets put in parentheses and the squared is there. Now remember from the last video that the squared is very important with the parentheses because it tells you exactly what's repeating. Since it's touching the whole set of parentheses, the whole set of parentheses repeats. 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 5 is 25. 9 times 25, well, if I had 9 quarters, I would have $2.25. There you go. 2y, well, y was 5, minus x squared. Again, wicked important to have those parentheses, especially with this exponent here. The exponent is touching that, the parentheses, so we double the parentheses, minus 9. Now this minus sign just comes right down. So 10 minus 9 is 1, and we're done. 3, this one's in the other order, so again, we have to be really careful. Minus 3x. 3 times 5. Those zoom in boxes really make a big difference by helping you focus yourself, show all your steps, and remember exactly what we're doing. Draw the zoom in box at the end of the parentheses, and begin at the first sign you see. Need to include the sign. 15. -3 times -3 is +9. Again, remember what operation is joining them. Whoops. Because otherwise you might have accidentally multiplied afterwards. And that's 24. Beautiful. One last slide here. Ooh, same values, but bigger things. So 5 times negative 3 minus 2 times 5 plus 6 times negative 3 minus 3 times 5. A lot of multiplication here. If you want, you can group the step. And what I mean by that is, since all these multiplications are separate, let's do them all separately, but at the same time. This is negative 15, positive 10, negative 18, negative 15. So since all of these things were joined by addition or subtraction to each other, none of the multiplication affected each other. So you can just go ahead and do it all. If there's multiple things that are being multiplied or divided next to each other, you have to do it one step at a time. This is where you really want to go step by step now. You owe 15, you get 10. You owe 5, you owe 18. That means you owe 33. You owe 33, you owe 15. That means you owe 48. Okay. Next one. Another exponent here. Really important to use those parentheses with those exponents. Now, one thing that I could have done here is combine like terms first. But if you're not feeling confident on that kind of thing, feel free to just show it all out. Now this time, the step that we can group is just the exponent. The exponent's touching the parentheses, so that's what's doubled. 2 times, because they were joined by multiplication, 9 plus 3, negative 3, minus 9, minus 2, negative 3. Now let's join all the multiplication. We're including all these signs. 18, negative 9, negative 9, positive 6, 9 minus 9 plus 6. 9 minus 9 is 0, so we're left with 6. Okay. Almost done. 4 times 5 plus, whoops, negative 3. Don't forget the parentheses when we're substituting. Group the multiplication. That's 20. I'm going to include both signs here because positive negative 3 times 5 is still negative 15. Positive 6. 5 plus 6 is 11. Okay, one step at a time. Negative 6 times negative 3 times 5 plus 7 times negative 3 squared plus 4 times negative 3 times 5 minus 3 times negative 3 squared. Now, I could do all this out, but if we look back and we see the like terms here, those two are alike because they have the exact same ending. Now, you should already remember how to do this. I'll walk through how to do this and then I'll show you how to do it the other way. Let's start with doing multiplication one step at a time. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have done the exponent first. Oh well. It's touching the parentheses, so that's what's written twice. I won't jump ahead on this one. And then the squared is just right here, so negative 3 times 9. Again, really, really important. Only square what it's touching. Now let's lump all this multiplication together. Make sure to include the signs. That 5 has to stay there for now. 18 times 5. 8 times 5 is 40, so that's 90. Plus 7 times 9 is 63. Now this one's where it gets a little bit tricky because we still have multiplication we have to go back and do. Again, you don't have to lump it all together, but you sure can. Minus 12 times 5 is 60, minus 27. So then we can just add from left to right. Have 90, have 63, that means you have 153. Whoops, I shouldn't have included that sign. 153 minus 60 is 93, minus 27. 93 minus 27. Don't be afraid to show it out. That's 66. Positive 66. Now let's talk about if I had lumped these together. If I took that negative 6xy and added 4xy, since they have the exact same variable ending, I would be left with negative 2xy's. And if I have 7x squared and negative 3x squareds, that means I have 4x squareds. We'll go over this in more detail later. But for now, it's a lot easier to do the multiplication when you have things together. So if you already know how to combine like terms and you feel really confident with that, then go for it. Oops, sorry, that's 30 plus 36 is 66. Look at the amount of work, the change in the amount of work. Same here, if I wanted to go back. 2x squared minus x squared is just 1x squared. 3x minus 2x is just x. So a 1x squared plus x. You can't combine those. We'll talk more about it later because they don't have the exact same variable ending. That would have been 9 minus 3 is 6. A lot fewer steps if you know how to combine like terms. Okay, guys, that's it. You have 2 Khan Academy links. Go on and grab those. Show all your steps. You can expand. Definitely take up full pages for some of these problems if you need to. I'll see you tomorrow.